We have two Raptors related questions here that apparently I have to scroll through because, Armored Monkey asks, how has Scottie Barnes' start been compared to other great rookies? So it's so early, but I just did this to sort of filter it out. There's only been one rookie in NBA history who has averaged 25 points, 10 rebounds, 1 steal per 100 possessions while shooting 58% or better on twos. It was DeAndre Ayton, who I don't even think that you would say was this all-time great rookie. For me, Scottie Barnes has just been most encouraging as someone with the feel as a passer, and then his mid-range game has come along faster than I thought it was. Shooting is clearly going to be a swing skill for him, and I think he's going to eventually end up being like a very disruptive defender who isn't, doesn't need to be someone that you need to worry about necessarily fouling a ton. And even now, like, given what he does, 2.8 fouls per 36 minutes, that's not high by any stretch. So he's been, look, the biggest shock with him, and I think everyone was puzzled how the Raptors went with him over Jalen Suggs. And I think when you look at the structure of the team now, the two things that stand out is they very clearly needed a bigger wing initiator type to maximize Fred VanVleet, which Jalen Suggs is not. And then also Scottie Barnes does not look like the project that he was supposed to be. Like, he just looks like someone who's ready to play now. So I don't know where he's going to end up for the season, but that ends up being like a, wow, Masai and his front office and his scouts and just anyone who went into sort of impacting this decision, they clearly might have just been the smartest people in the room here, because Scottie Barnes is just, he looks great.
I think Scottie Barnes is to me what Evan Mobley is to you, where I thought he'd be a really good NBA player. I didn't know that it would happen this quickly, that his ceiling would look quite this high. I mean, we are ultimately talking about a guy who averaged 10.3 points per game, 23.8 points per 100 possessions during his lone season at Florida State. And in the NBA, granted only in a 7-game sample, he's already up to 18.1 points per game and 25.5 points per 100 possessions. And he looks good doing it because he can already fill so many different roles. He looks comfortable operating off the ball and filling cracks within a defense. He looks comfortable handling the ball, passing off of the bounce. Like, these are skills that it seemed like he could have because he was that proverbial Swiss Army knife prospect in this year's draft class. But it was supposed to take time for him to put that together. He was supposed to be making more of an impact as this game-changing, versatile defender, especially alongside OG Anunoby, where they could just switch on everything. And for him to be this advanced, this quickly on the offensive end, another guy where it just seems like the sky is the limit, where he could very clearly be Toronto's best player in a few years.
I need to see like more of just the offensive development, but there's for sure that type of a ceiling. And if you want to sort of get into the just historical results here, so he's on pace right now. He's averaging, this isn't the perfect way to do this, but I'm just trying to see like an impact of a rookie who plays a lot. 0.16 win shares per 48 minutes. The last 5 rookies to do that while playing at least 1,500 minutes. Again, he's not at that point yet. Ben Simmons in 2017, 2018, Nikola Jokic, 2015, 2016, Nikola Mirotic, 2014, 2015, Kawhi Leonard, 2011, 2012, and Chris Paul in 2005, 2006. If he sticks, and I'm not saying he will, that would be hella good company to be in. And yes, I just said hella.
It's 2021, just in case you'd forgotten.
I know. I should I say what's up after that too.
It's this rookie class in general has been really fun to this point in the season. Like, it's really early, but even beyond those guys that we just talked about in Evan Mobley and Scottie Barnes, like Chris Duarte and Franz Wagner and Josh Giddey and Alperen Şengün and Dalano Banton for Toronto and Bones Highland in Denver. Like, there's been a lot of fun contributors.
2 things. You're going to know this in a minute, but what a friggin' segue to our next question that you just made without knowing it, by the way. Adam does these things off the cuff. But 2, Franz Wagner, after watching him in Summer League, I wasn't out on him, but I was just sort of like, eh. And then seeing that he was playing a ton of 3, and I still think he should have been more of a 4. He's a dark horse rookie of the year candidate.
That dude can play.
Yeah, it's so early right now. If he just continues to do what he's doing on offense, and then you see some of these other guys fade, he would have a legitimate, people will still gravitate towards the bigger names if Scottie Barnes is still there, if Evan Mobley is still playing like this, obviously. He's probably been the 3rd or 4th, no worse than the 5th best rookie right now.
Absolutely. His touch around the basket so much better than I anticipated. Just the feel for the game. It's really impressive. Orlando has something there.
This question comes from Omir Rania, Dalano Banton. That's the question. Mind melting, mind blown emoji, fireworks emoji.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit that I don't know much about him. Like, I know that he was a second round draft pick, that he went to Nebraska. One of those guys where he just was not on my pre draft radar. I did not have a scouting report going in, but he has looked like that do everything role player that Toronto seems to be able to find whenever Masai Ujiri wants one. I mean, I don't know that he's going to develop into a star because I don't know how scalable this production is. But the fact that he has handled himself nicely on the defensive end while guarding wings, while guarding big men, the fact that he's hitting half of his 3-pointers to this point, like if he can develop into a 3-and-D player for this team, like it's another notch in the cap for Ujiri here.
His defense is absolutely absurd. And I saw there was like sections of Raptors Twitter that like weren't excited that people were focusing on his shooting. This is like a defensive prospect who can put pressure on the defense closer to the basket. But like shooting becomes a swing skill then in that situation. And just right now, he's shooting 43% from mid range, even better on long mid range jumpers. And then he's what is he, a total of like 2 of 4 from 3 or something like that? He's 3 of 6. So look, what a find by them. And I think that answers the other question that we had was, where was this? Who's been the best second round rookie this season so far came from Johnny. I'm curious if anybody else sort of stands out there for you, but I think him by far and away Dalano Banton's been the best. After him, if I had to pick, I think I'd go with Herb Jones. He's also been a monster defensively. And then you talk about shooting being a swing skill. If he can hit threes, like he's going to be just an absurdly good NBA player.
I think Banton is the obvious choice right